How's it going, Sigma fam? In this video, we are going to look at how to set up TradingView in order to plot your volume profile and show the initial balance of each of the sessions. Now, I'm going to start from scratch with a chart which has no indicators at all. Okay. The first thing that you need is basically, if you go to your invite only scripts, you need to find Sigma session initial balance and extensions. All right. So what you need to do with this, you need to modify the timing in order, modify the timing to get the session start and ending zones. Now in Discord, I have already shared how the ExoChart's original session timings. You just need to input those. So I have already set up, so I'll just like copy this and paste it here. So once you have done that, it's gonna look something like this. Okay, here's what I've done. Instead of taking it from the exact time, I start my session 15 minutes earlier, all right, and end it after 15 minutes after the session has started. So if I draw this, this is how it's gonna look like. So this is the Asia session, right? This is the original session timing. This is the 15 minutes before open, 15 minutes after open. So we're interested in the initial balance that is created between this region, which is the high and the low. That's the initial balance basically. The next thing that we need, to be honest, that's all we need. We don't need anything else. We need the session high and lows. All right, so if you use Sigma session high and low and high low indicator, which is basically, which I'll provide the link as well, which is just this one. This one got deleted. This one, all right. I'll provide the link. So you need to adjust the timing on that as well. And once you have done that, it's going to look something like this. Now, this is showing you the session highs and the session lows. So that's about the setup. That's it. We don't need anything else. The rest is just noise. This is your charts will look like. Now let me explain how we're going to look at initial balance in order to form directional buys. All right, let's start with the session. We're here in Asia, right? So what happened in the aftermarkets? We have an initial balance which is just above the previous initial balance, and then what happened? Price broke below this initial balance, aftermarket's initial balance, and price also broke below the New York initial balance. This to me signifies is that for the day, right now, our bias is basically to short the market. And how to form directional bias here? Okay, so we have our London session. Price broke above the London session, created a swing high. All right, price broke above the Asia session, created a swing high. All right, now for the aftermarket, of course, my directional bias will be to buy. Now, this is the basic about directional bias using initial balance. So initial balance has like 3 key zones. One is the high, one is the low, and the midpoint. The midpoint is, you can think of this is where all the value is, just like the volume profile, as I'll explain in a bit. So what we're waiting for each of the session is for our initial balance. We're waiting for the initial balance to be formed. Okay, once the initial balance has formed, we are waiting for a breakout above the initial balance or break below the initial balance. Okay, now price can break out. The mid zone is where all the value is. The mid zone, we are going to assess whether the price is breaking out by considering the mid zone of the initial balance. If the price breakouts after retesting the mid zone of the initial balance, we know that it's going to fly. Same happened with here. Price started from initial balance low, price jumped above, price came down again, price broke above again. All right, this time it basically retested this level that it created and then created a swing high around here. We can buy around this region. So this is how you're going to basically assess the initial balance. But now let's look at what happens if we add volume profile to our trading. Now, where can you find a volume profile? Is right here, fixed range volume profile. Okay, now you can just favorite it and it will create a toolbox, and from here you just take this. So for this illustration, we are going to use only we're going to test out the aftermarket session. I'm going to show you a lot of examples. So this was the beginning of session, this was the ending of session, previous session. All right, this was the beginning of session, this was the ending of the session. Okay, now let's look at what am I using for the volume profile settings. I'm gonna put a screenshot of all those settings in my Discord so you can look at it. So we're using the number of rows, 140 multiplied by 10, basically default is 24 and multiplied by 10, and the volume and the value area that I'm using is 75. The reason for 75, I think, in a statistical zone, all right, if you consider this, my philosophy is this. Now if I take this as a line and this is a volume, this is the volume, okay, this is 25%, this is 25%, this is the 50% zone. So the zone created between these two is 75%. So that's why I use 75%, because it gives me, I think it gives a better indication of where the price can run into. All right, let's explain a few things about the volume profile. Now if you, okay, let's look at this. Let me scroll a bit up then. Okay, if I draw a zone here, okay, the 75% zone is basically my value area, right? This is the 50% zone, which is basically the point of control. Now if I write a text here, this is just give me once. This is the POC, which is the point of control. This is the value area low. This is the value area high. Now, what's this? Now there would be the 25% zone. The 25% zone is what I use to that's what I call the selling tail, and this is what I call the buying tail. Now price might start from anywhere within this value area in the next session. So our our bias should be formed based on the market structure that has been occurring previously. Let's say price has been creating lower lows, then price came here, retested the value area high, just like support and resistance. If you think about it, then price comes up, breaks this swing low, retest this zone, then starts going up again until price touches this value area high, and then price breaks this swing low, swing high, and then comes on. So something like this. To see how these setups, to see the types of setups that can form, I will also link the Notion template. I'll actually show you, as the Notion is opening. Meanwhile, let me show you how we are going to look and assess and form our bias in a trading session. Alright, so this is the Notion template. If you go to Sigmabasis Trading, you can go to markets, not the market structure, you can go to volume profile and market profile structure. Alright, you can click on the first link, which will take you to article written by FTMO in order to understand it better. First, it will teach you'll learn about the sessions, how they work, how they operate. Alright, and if you click on this link, it's basically the theory of the market profile. It will be explained in this article and the types of setup there is. In order to find the key setups, just go to volume profile and IB setups, and here you'll find 4 types of setup that I look for when I'm trading and at the start of the session. And then you'll find more examples of the setups, how to look at these setups. Alright, again, I'll provide the link in the description of this video. I know I'm going slow, but there's a reason behind it. I want to keep it pretty chilled. I don't want to rush anything. Another thing I want to point out is basically pay attention to the midpoint of the initial balance, what's happening. There's a huge gap created between these two zones. Alright, now price might come to this zone in order to test it later on. Our price also hasn't tested this initial balance, alright, because there was a weak formation. Price might come down a little bit and then go above, something like this. Initial balance low, 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 low. So this is how you can form your market structure bias. You don't like, you can either use the higher time frame candles or you can use just initial balance. For me, initial balance works better. Next off, we're going to look at some setups. Okay, so let's plot our volume profile from the New York session to aftermarket session. Alright, we're at this zone in time, right? So price started right around this zone. We have seen that the price has been, this is just the previous swing low, which was broken. Price broke this swing low, right? Now, what's my bias? My bias is to look for short setup. Okay, another thing you can do is basically you can look at this. Okay, now right here price has broken the swing low structure. You can look at the line chart, and now yeah, price has broken structure. Now we're looking for sell setup at the beginning of the session. Price came up. Look where price came up. Price came up to the value area low. So when the price is doing this, okay, price came down, broken a structure. If the price revisits this zone, this is a sell setup. And what you're going to do, you're going to sell this once. On this retest, you can sell it and put your stop loss right here. Or you can sell this swing low, and then in order to get better entry, you can take this wick, okay, the wick that is formed, and put a lot of like sell ladder like this. So if you use in silico, you can use sell ladder like this. Limit sell walls, and once you have done it, you'll get an average entry fill right around this region, and then you take a 1:2 or 1:3 trade. That's your first trade. Now in a session, you're always looking for no more than 2 trades. The reason I want to emphasize this is basically when price is visiting, and you're only going to look for setups when the price is visiting a key zone. For our key zone, we are going to assess it based on the volume profile first, and the second one would be the initial balance. We came around this region right now. Price has created this low. Okay, the gap between the price and the session and the buying tail, this is basically our buying tail, right, is also one of the key zones. How do we trade this? Okay, right now price has just went down. Great. So you're already in a sell setup. You're not looking for any trades right now. Okay, now if you this was a trade that was taken at the very beginning of the market. Now our next trade would be taken when the initial balance was been formed. And when was initial balance formed? Right at 5:30. What we are gonna do here is look what the price is gonna do. Okay. Price came down, all right, created a swing low. Great. Now I want usually this swing low to be retested in order to take another short position, but right here it didn't get a retest. Instead, what price did, price went up, broke above, retested this buying tail, and what we have here, we have basically another entry, and we are going to take this as well. And then again we revisited this point of this value area low, all right, and on this value area low we created another swing low. All right, I would like to, so here was a swing low created, revisited the swing low, close or open, and then price came down, another scalping position, and then price came down, retested the mid of the initial balance, created another swing high. Now how do you know it's a swing high? Okay, what you're trying to accomplish here is basically price revisits a key zone, price touches it actually, and then the price breaks above the high of the previous candle. Now I'll just, this is the high, if the closing of this candle goes above the high of this candle, this is basically a swing high formation. Now what we'll do now is wait for another setup. Then again, there's no wick here, but what I'm gonna do, I'm going to take this wick, all right, this unfilled wick, and I'm going to try to fill as much as possible. Now I'll set my orders right around these zones. and most would be concentrated at the above. And what happened? Price just shot up. You have your another setup. So let's see how long has the video been. It's been 20 minutes. I can keep going for another 10 minutes. I want to keep the video short and effective. Okay. Now this was from, okay, think about this. I'm doing this on hindsight. The reason is I want to save time. Now I can, when you are back testing, what you need to do, keep all this in mind. On candle by candle basis, you are going to use the bar replay mode, and you're going to create a story one candle at a time. What happened here? Where is the swing low? Where is the swing high? Break of structure, right? So we're looking for short setup. We can look for short setup from right around this region. We can look for short setup below this value area, below this point of control. Now let's see what happens. Okay, price broke the point of control and we created a swing low. Okay, you can enter a trade around this region. This is at 5:30 once the initial balance is formed. If you can zoom into it, you can already see this is the midpoint of the initial balance. Based on the confluence, we got 3 confluence prices below the midpoint of the initial balance, prices below POC, break of market structure. Can we take a short setup? Yeah, we can. We can take a short setup from here, and this should be our, this last swing high is our stop loss, and we can take it till 1:2 or 1:3. Depends on how you're trading. Okay, candle by candle basis the story would be created, right? That's what I told you. Low, 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 low. So this is where the high of this candle is above, the closing of this candle is above the high of this candle. So this means we have formed a swing low. Now there were no key areas here except for previous weekly open. Now we would be biased, let's say, to say that okay, price will at one time reach this. Now when the price is reversing, what's your philosophy right now? Okay, damn, I was in profit, I was so close to hitting my target, but now it's just reversed on me. This is a trading philosophy that you need to really understand. When this is done, would you close your position here? Okay, price is just right here, prices just might be retesting the initial balance, but here you would be fearful, so you'd close your position. Most people would, but you cannot think like a normal person when you are trading. Instead, what I'll do, I'll add more into this position. Now I added more. Okay, see these 2 lines that are moving? This is what I call basically the moving stop loss. You can get this with SBS candle, right? I removed everything except for show the stop loss lines. Now you can make it a trailing stop loss and basically move your stop loss here. As the price is moving, just move your stop loss. Move your stop loss here. Move your stop loss here on each of the candle. Once the candle is closing, it's moving. Move your stop loss here. Move your stop loss here. Move your stop loss here. Basically here. Now it's here. It's like a trailing stop loss, which is giving you a better perspective. and most of the time what will happen, it won't get hit, so your entire profit is protected. At the same time, you know, when there would be a major change like this, you won't be liquidated. Move your stop loss here, move your stop loss here, here. Okay. Now right here we just tested the previous weekly open and we created a wick and the price created a swing low. I know for sure this is for me to get stopped. Alright, so what I did during my trade, I took another trade right around this region. Once the initial balance got tested, breakout, we tested this zone. I took it on to the previous week open. Okay. And basically I closed my position here. Now that's about it. Let's see how much time, and another 4 minutes remaining, so I can show you another trade. Okay, look at this. Price started from the value area low, went all the way down to, sorry, value area high, and went all the way down to value area low. Why this is happening? You can see that this is where price broken a structure. The next trade should be taken not from here. The next trade should be taken during Asia session, and you start taking the next trade right around this region. Now you will create another volume profile right around this region till Asia, yeah, and you can see that the price came up. This would be your first trade right around this region. Okay, price just went below, like price went up. Now you would be in profit if you took profit right around this region, but nobody can predict where the price will stop. So never think that for a second that this will get hit as well. So you would be always looking for the story in the next candle. So right around this region, what happened? Price created a swing low, retest of this structure, came down, so you could take another short entry right onto this mid zone. Now price created a swing high, which was immediately, that's why you always wait for a retest, immediately taken out right around this region, and this is your another short position. What you can do is use 10 minutes candle or 9 minutes candle in order to have a better directional bias. Because too often, look here at this region, price didn't really create a swing low, so this was more of a continuation. Came down below IB, below the initial balance. We tested the IB low and then moved down. So always use higher time frame bias, which is I'm gonna use in this case. It's gonna be 9 minutes. And my entry would be based on 3 minutes or 1 minute candle. Okay. Another example, New York session. Okay, we are at the value area low. Based on this, price can go below value area low and take all this liquidity, or price can just break above value area low. So if we look at this zone, we're going to wait. That's why you always wait. the setup doesn't appear here, it's not clear, wait for initial balance to be formed. And when the initial balance has formed right around this region, we have formed a swing high. And what you're going to do, again, just like before, a retest. Okay, all these wicks need to be retested. Now you're going to set a limit order right around this region, and once it gets hit, voila, you fly. Also, this was initial balance low. Now if what your bias could be also formed, oh, this was below the initial balance low of the previous session, so maybe I could actually short this. To be honest, you'll get, once you start looking like this, you're gonna get a lot of chaos. So it's always better. Of course, you're gonna miss out on some of the trades at the very beginning. Let's say for some reason it just like bounced on. It's okay, you'll miss some of the trades, but it's better to trade the setup, which is wait for the initial balance to be formed first to take the trade, rather than just taking the trade just at the very beginning of the session, because the 10 minutes or the 5 minutes of the session is basically manipulation or ranging. Market makers that decide on where there is liquidity, which directions they are going to push the price. Okay, so that's about it. Hopefully you found this video useful. As I said, the link and everything will be provided, so where you'll get the indicators, how are you going to set this up, and if you have any questions or you want to talk with me, you can join Discord. I'll provide the links. Thank you, and if you like the video and if it turns out to be useful, give a thumbs up, and I'll see you until next time.